In this video, I'm going to show you how to create content on social media to grow your Skool community. Let's do this. So this is my Skool community, the Content Academy, which I've grown to about 1,700 members. I also have a video and a course inside the community that shows how I generated 44K in 18 days. And I did that without any sales calls. But I wanted to create a video on how to actually get people inside your Skool community, because without people inside your community, there's no way they can interact with you and ultimately buy your products. So in this video, I'll show you how to create that content on social media that actually gets people to take action and join your community. And then I'll also show you a bit about how I structured my Skool community. So once you get people in here, you can go ahead and engage with them and ultimately sell them some products. Now, one thing that I want to address up front that I see with a lot of people trying to take on this challenge is that they drastically underestimate the amount of effort it's going to take to get people into their community, and as well how often they have to create content on social media and for what length of time. So I create content sometimes multiple times a day across multiple marketing channels, and that's how I've been able to grow my followings on social media and also help bring them to my Skool community. So it's really easy to say you want to create content, and it's easy to say you want to grow a community, but it's a lot harder to stick with it. And what I see most people do is that they start down the path of creating content, creating a community, but once they start, then they take on another major objective, and then all of a sudden the creating the content and growing the community takes a back seat, and guess what? Nothing happens. So if you're going to do this needs to be a major objective in your business, and it has to be something that you're working on day to day, and it's going to have to be something that you're working on next month and the month after that. Growing this community took a lot of hard work, and I don't want to underestimate how much work it's going to take for you to do the same. Now, the one other hurdle that I do see a lot of people hit is, how do I come up with ideas? I struggle with this from time to time, but I think one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is not feel like you always have to come up with new ideas day after day. I think there are very few people that can come up with idea after idea every single day and have it be relevant to their audience. And so if you're always trying to come up with new ideas every single day, the chances are you're going to go off on random topics that really aren't focused on what problems you solve or what products you sell or what your community is actually about. So if you're looking for that perfect system to constantly inspire you, you're really setting yourself up for failure. And really the best content for your audience isn't really what inspires you. It's really what they ultimately care about. So the best way to come up with content on a daily basis that your audience really cares about is really to focus in on them and not what you care about, but what do they care about, and creating content around that. And don't worry about repeating yourself. That's exactly what you want to do. In all reality, most people that are on social media and they're scrolling through, they are not there to see you or me. They are there for their own entertainment. And so if they do happen to run across your piece of content, you want to make sure that that piece of content is relevant to them right now. And if your content is always going from subject to subject, it's quite possible that they're never going to see the piece of content that they need to see that is going to get them to act to join your community. It's really when you show up to social media day after day saying the same things, talking about the same things, solving the same problems, that people really start to see you as an expert in that area. It's really only the people that have had some major success in life, like Alex Hormozi or Gary Vee, where they have $100 million companies, where they can just talk about all these different random things and hold people's attention. And it's because they've had one of these massive successes. Even if you've been successful in business, maybe you've built a $10 million company, a $20 million company, it isn't so impressive, it isn't so unique that people will just listen to you no matter what you say. So here are 3 different styles of content that you can use day to day when you are creating content. Number 1 is just to talk about the day-to-day struggles that your target audience has that relate to your product. Now, I don't mean talking about the solutions of your product. What I'm talking about is actually creating content that speaks to the struggles or the symptoms of the problems that they suffer from day to day. In all reality, someone might not actually be looking for the solution that you offer. They might not even know they have the problem, but they do know the struggles that they have day to day. So if you can empathize with them and what they are going through on a day-to-day basis, it will be easy to get their attention. So for example, I sell an automated system that helps people scale their content creation and really make that process easier, but they might not actually be looking for that solution. They might not even know that it exists, but they might be trying to create a lot of content and struggling with their team and just not able to achieve the results they want. So if I talk about the struggles they have with their team and the chaos of their content process, then they might pay attention to me and then look to see what solutions I might have to offer. So the next style of content that you can create is to really isolate the things that they are doing, that your target audience is doing, that's commonly accepted in the field, and really talk about why they should not be doing that. You really want to take a specific stance and go against the grain and talk about the things things that your target audience should no longer be doing and what they should be doing instead and why. So for instance, I could talk about why you should not be using cold email and why it's a lot more effective to use content and grow community and to build your products with a community-led focus. And that's really going to stand out against all the people that are selling cold email, cold calling services, or automated DMs on LinkedIn. Now, the third style of content that you should be creating is really speaking to the results and the achievements that you or your clients have achieved. That, of course, relates to your target audience. If your target audience wants to grow a Skool community, you should talk about how you've grown your own Skool community or how you've helped other people grow a Skool community. If people want to monetize their Skool community, you should talk about how you've monetized your own Skool community, or again, how you've helped your clients do the same. So you really want to incorporate all three styles of content into your content strategy when you're creating content on social media. Again, you want to talk about those daily struggles or the symptoms that your target audience has in their day-to-day life so that you can empathize with that. You want to talk about the things that they should not be doing and what they should be doing instead and why. And you really want to speak to those results that you've achieved that relate to the things that they want. Now, ideally, these topics will be the same things that inspire you day to day, but it's important to realize that it doesn't really matter what inspires you except to help you keep going. But the only thing that really matters in terms of your content performing on social media is that it really relates to your target audience, it builds your credibility, and it gets them to take action to do what you want them to do. And so it is vital that you learn what your customers care about and what they think about and what they struggle with. And the only way to really do that is to go talk to them, it's to create content, and it's to listen to the feedback and use that to create more content. And so in the beginning, if you're new, this can be very hard. If you're putting out content, you might be getting just a few comments. You have to engage with those comments. You have to go deeper. You have to ask people additional questions in those comments. You have to take whatever you can get and you have to feed that back into your content and strengthen it day after day. Your best content is really going to be a reflection of the things that you hear in the marketplace, the feedback that you get in the comments and in your discussions with your target audience, and of course the insights that you get as you start to solve harder and harder problems for your target audience. But the real benefit of this approach is that you do start to build momentum, you start to build a community, you start to build people that know, like, and trust you, and you start to build more and more feedback. And this will grow at an exponential rate and it will start to sustain itself. And it won't always be as hard as it was in the beginning. Now, the only other thing that I would say about creating content on social media is to keep it authentic. Sometimes people feel like they need to speak above their actual skill level to impress people, to get them to take action. But ultimately, this doesn't work because even if you get people to take action and join your community, eventually people will find out you're not who you say you are. And so the overall effort will not be sustainable. I can guarantee you, if you are realistic about where you are and who you're trying to serve, you will grow faster than if you try to pretend like you're somebody that you're not. Now, the other thing that you want to make sure of when you are creating content is you want to make sure that your social media profile is very clear on how you help people so that when they do finally go to your profile, they're going to see exactly what you do and they're going to have an easy way to find out more. If they click on this link, I give them a couple different options. They can check out a free resource that I have, or they can book a one-on-one call with me. Now, no matter what they pick here, I will ultimately invite them to my community so they can become a part of it. But you will notice here that I don't have a bunch of different options. And in fact, in the beginning, you probably just want one option. You probably just want to invite them to your community. You don't want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that they can choose from because that's ultimately going to confuse them. You want to make sure that once they finally come to your profile, that it's very easy to find some additional value and then finally make it into your community. And then of course, once people get to your community, you're going to want to set this up so that there is something to do. You'll notice that once you join, there is an introduction post where I give people some basic instructions on introducing themselves and where to find more information. And so you'll find if you explore my community a bit that everything kind of loops together a bit. If you come in through the main page, there's an introduction, and then that's going to push you to the classroom. And then from the classroom, you can learn more about the free and paid courses. And then you can learn more about the programs themselves. As well, if you go to the calendar, you're also going to get exposed to different programs that I have. No matter where you go inside my community, number one, you're going to find out how to use the community. And then you'll be reminded over and over of the different things that you can do within the community, both free and paid. And if you want to learn more about monetizing the community itself, I definitely suggest that you check out this course here. I go in depth on how I built built out my Skool community and some of the different technologies that I'm using to collect payment and to run a course, and how to set up your calendar and different ways that you can continually introduce people to your paid programs. So there you go. That's how you're going to get people inside of your Skool community. There really are no major secrets here, except that you need to make this a priority and that it's going to take some effort on your behalf. I mean, if you think about it, who is really going to commit to you? Who's going to invest time into you and your community if you're not willing to invest first and make it a valuable place for them to go to? I think sometimes online we're told that there is some secret trick, but in reality, the only real trick here is to be consistent, which is hard enough. And two, you have to create content that they actually care about. You have to be listening to what people actually care about. You have to take those insights, you have to synthesize them, and then you have to create content that really resonates with your target audience so that they're really going to pay attention. There are so many people on social media creating content. Why would they go with you? Why would they go with your community? There has to be something compelling about what you're saying for them to take action and spend some time to go invest into your community. So as always, I hope you found that video valuable. If you want to create your own Skool community, make sure to check the link in the description. If you click on that, you'll get your own 14-day trial. So check that out. If you do build a Skool community, reach out to me on Skool and tell me that you did. Tell me about your community. I'll come check it out. If you'd like my advice, I'll give you a couple pointers. And so with that, I'll see you on the Skool platform.